The small town of Millfield was plagued by a strange illness. Every full moon, one of the townspeople would suddenly fall in and become violently ill. The symptoms were strange and unlike anything the local doctor had ever seen. They would become feverish and delirious, speaking in tongues and thrashing around wildly. Then, just as suddenly as the illness came on, the person would recover with no memory of what happened. Everyone in the town knew to lock their doors and stay inside during a full moon. But one fateful night, young Sarah decided to ignore the warnings. She had heard a strange noise coming from the woods and was convinced it was her missing cat. She crept out of her house and into the woods, calling for her beloved pet. As she reached the heart of the woods, she saw a figure moving in the shadows. It was huge and covered in fur, with glowing eyes that seemed to pierce into the darkness. Sarah froze in fear, but it was too late. The creature lunged at her, and she felt its teeth sink into her flesh. She awoke the next morning feeling strange and disorientated, but as the day went on, she began to notice that something was different. She had an insatiable hunger for raw meat, and an undeniable urge to run through the woods at night. Sarah soon found herself that she had been bitten by a werewolf, and the creature was now part of her. She tried to resist the urge to transform, but as the next full moon approached, she could feel the beast inside her growing stronger and more powerful. And when the full moon finally rose, Sarah was no longer in control of her own body. She ran through the streets of Millfield, hunting and killing anyone in her path. When she finally came back to her senses, she realized the horrors of what she had done and what she had become. She knew that she could never go back to her old life, and she would always be a monster. And so, Sarah fled into the woods, never to be seen again. The town of Millfield was never the same. The people whispered about the monster that lived in the woods, and they all knew to lock their doors and stay inside during a full moon. But they could never forget the terror they had witnessed on that fateful night. Somewhere out there, there's a werewolf still roaming, waiting for its next victim.